Master the art of hugging. Make her feel you long after you're gone. Stoic bloom. Ever wondered why some hugs fade while others haunt the heart for days? It's not just about arms and pressure. It's a language deeper than words. What if your hug could make her pause, remember your scent, and smile to herself hours later? That power is real, and it's in how you touch without speaking. From Marcus Aurelius to modern psychology, the ability to connect through presence, especially in a hug, is a forgotten Stoic art. Let's revive it. Part 1. The silent language of a hug. A hug is not just physical contact. It's a silent dialogue, a pure exchange of emotional energy. When two people come together in an embrace, what's really happening isn't just body to body, but soul to soul. And yet, in this modern world, most men are sleepwalking through these moments. They offer hugs out of politeness, routine, or awkward obligation. They touch, but they don't connect. They squeeze, but they don't feel. The result? Emptiness, missed chances, a memory that disappears the moment it happens. But imagine if your hug could linger, not just in her skin, but in her mind. Imagine if your arms could make her feel safe, admired, seen. That's the kind of hug we're here to uncover. The Stoics believe that true strength isn't about what you force, but what you offer through stillness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you approach a hug with clarity, intention, and calm, it reflects in your energy. Your calm presence can say what no sentence ever could. A woman will notice when your energy is grounded, not desperate, not erratic, just quietly strong. You're not just trying to impress her, you're inviting her in. That's the Stoic difference. So before we even break down the types of hugs, understand this: your hug is not a transaction. It's an offering. When done with presence, it becomes the first domino in a cascade of emotional connection. And if this resonates with you, even just a little, consider hitting that subscribe button. Share this video with someone who still hugs like a panicked teenager. Leave a comment below about the most unforgettable hug you've ever had, because we're not here just to watch videos. We're here to master moments. Stoic bloom, because stillness speaks louder than words. Part 2. The psychology behind her touch. A hug may last only seconds, but its emotional imprint can last for days, especially for her. While men often underestimate the power of touch, women are evolutionarily and emotionally wired to sense meaning from physical cues. This is not a game of brute force or duration. It's a dance of attention, intention, and emotional precision. Every woman has a unique emotional blueprint. The way she hugs reveals more than just how she feels in that moment. It reveals what she needs, what she's open to, and what she fears. If her hug is quick and patting, she may be guarding her space. If she leans in, rests her head, or tightens her grip, these are invitations to emotional presence, not just physical comfort. Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. When it comes to touch, especially hugging, the same rule applies. Listen twice as much as you move. Observe more than you act. Her posture, the pressure of her arms, whether she relaxes or tenses. Each of these is her way of speaking without words. And here's the kicker most men miss. When she hugs you, she isn't asking for performance. She's asking for presence. She wants to feel your awareness, not your dominance, your steadiness, not your strategy. This is why emotional intelligence matters. It's not enough to be physically strong. You must be emotionally still. Stoicism isn't about shutting off your feelings. It's about channeling them. When you hug with calm clarity, you show her that you're not flustered, not fumbling. You are right there, fully tuned in to her rhythm, her body language, her emotional state. In that space between breath and embrace, she feels whether you're truly with her or just performing the motion. And believe me, she always knows. So before you lean in for that next hug, pause, breathe, be aware, not of what you want from her, but of what you're offering through your stillness. Stoic bloom, where presence becomes the purest form of power. Part 3, when her body speaks, reading her hug like a language. Every hug she gives you is a paragraph in her emotional diary. The question is, are you fluent in her language? Or are you just pretending to listen while skimming the surface? There's a moment, a few seconds into a hug, when her body begins to tell you the truth. If you're distracted in your head, overthinking your next move, you'll miss it. But if you're grounded, still present like a stoic warrior in a storm, you'll hear everything she doesn't say out loud. Let's break this down. A brief patting hug often signals friendliness, comfort, but emotional distance. It's not a rejection, it's a boundary. Respond with quiet presence, not pressure. Don't rush to convert a platonic gesture into romance. Instead, extend the moment by just half a second longer than expected, showing her that you're not desperate for closeness, but open to it. Then there's the longer, tighter hug, the one that lingers. She's leaning in, maybe her breathing slows, her shoulders relax. That's not just affection, that's trust forming. That's her nervous system syncing with yours. If you pull away too soon, it breaks the rhythm. If you hold on too long with tension, it disrupts the energy. But if you mirror her, matching her breath, softening your hold, offering calmness, your hug becomes a shared experience. That's stoic intimacy, deliberate, measured, unshaken. And what about when she melts into you? Head resting gently. No rush to let go. That's the gold. That's vulnerability in motion. In that moment, she is not asking for anything. She is simply being. And if you're wise, you'll meet her there without asking for more, without calculating the next step. Just let the moment be enough. And in doing so, you become unforgettable. Not for what you said, but for how you made her feel without speaking. Seneca once said, "A gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver." A hug is your gift. If you offer it with stillness, it becomes a moment she'll replay again and again, not because it was perfect, but because it was real. And if you're thinking, damn, I've been hugging like a stiff ironing board all these years, don't worry, you're not alone. Click that subscribe button before your next hug becomes another missed opportunity. Share this video with a friend who needs hugging lessons more than protein powder. Leave a comment if you've ever been hugged so well it reset your nervous system. This channel isn't just about watching, it's about becoming someone worth remembering. Stoic bloom. When you master your stillness, you master the moment. Part 4, the energy within, what you really transmit when you hug. We often talk about hugs like they're physical mechanics, arm placement, duration, the angle of your lean. But beneath all that is something far more essential. Energy. The emotional atmosphere you carry into a hug will define everything about how it's received. Let's be honest. Have you ever been hugged by someone who was distracted? Someone whose arms were around you, but whose mind was somewhere else entirely? That hug didn't comfort you. It didn't make you feel safe. It left you emptier than before. Now flip that. Think about the last time someone hugged you with full presence. No words, no agenda, just their quiet strength holding space for you. That moment, that's what we're aiming for. And it starts with mastering your internal state. The Stoics weren't emotionally detached. They were emotionally composed. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If you step into an embrace carrying insecurity, anxiety, or neediness, it will bleed through your body. But if you approach the hug with calm confidence, without trying to impress, without trying to control, you transmit safety. And safety is the soil where attraction grows. A woman doesn't want to be consumed by your energy. She wants to feel aligned with it. And you can only create that harmony when your internal emotional rhythm is steady. It's not about being cold, it's about being anchored. This is why emotional self-awareness is not optional. Before you even lift your arms, ask, am I present? Am I grounded? Am I giving it or taking? Because she'll feel it before she knows how to explain it. Her nervous system is listening, and if your energy is chaotic, she'll recoil, even if she smiles politely. On the other hand, when your energy is relaxed but firm, soft but sure, she'll stay. Not because you held tighter, but because your presence made her feel something rare, safe while seen. This is the paradox of a powerful hug. It's soft yet strong, silent yet loud, fleeting yet unforgettable. Stoic bloom, because energy doesn't lie. Stillness is the truth. Part 5, the lingering embrace. When time slows down, there's a moment in some hugs where time seems to pause. It's not that the world stops, it's that the world narrows into this quiet, sacred space between two people. Her head leans a little longer, her breath softens, her fingers don't rush to let go. That's not coincidence, that's resonance. This kind of hug, the lingering embrace, is not born out of technique, it's born out of presence. She's not just touching your body, she's testing your emotional availability. She wants to know, are you actually here? Or is this just a trick you picked up from a YouTube video? The Stoics understood the power of deliberate moments. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." When you hug with stillness, you invite her into that inner peace. You don't rush to let go. You don't break the silence with nervous chatter. You let the silence say something. In that pause, when neither of you moves, you tell her everything she needs to know. You show her that you're not afraid of stillness. You are not afraid of closeness. And more importantly, you're not afraid of her. That's the deepest kind of attraction. Emotional courage. Want to know the secret to making her think about you all day long? It's not cologne, it's not clever lines. It's that feeling she gets in your arms that tells her, with him, I can exhale. And the beautiful irony, when you hold her without clinging, when you don't chase the moment but allow it to unfold naturally, she stays longer. Not just in the hug, but in her memory of you. Now, if this part made you think, man, my last hug was more like a half-second handshake with body contact, then we've got work to do. Hit that subscribe button before someone reports you to the Ministry of Awkward Hugs. Share this with a friend who hugs like he's defusing a bomb. And drop a comment about the best or worst hug you've ever had. We're building a brotherhood of stoic huggers here, one steady embrace at a time. Stoic bloom, because the slowest moments often leave the deepest marks. Part 6, the power of vulnerability. Strength without armor. There's something profoundly disarming about a man who knows how to hold a woman, not just with his arms, but with his soul. It's rare, and it's powerful. Not because he's trying to prove anything, but because he's stopped trying. Most men go into hugs armored, emotionally guarded, holding their breath, hiding behind confidence that's too polished, too loud. But what women truly respond to in a hug isn't polished masculinity, it's authentic openness. A softness that says, I don't need to impress you, I just want to be here, with you, fully. The Stoics never saw vulnerability as weakness. In fact, it was the highest form of self-awareness. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free," and to be emotionally vulnerable in a moment of connection, to allow someone to feel your presence without masks, that is true bravery. When a woman rests into your chest, she's giving you something sacred, her trust. And in return, she's silently asking, can you meet me here without shrinking, without flinching, without needing to be more than you are? To meet her in that space, you don't need words. You need integrity. You need calm breath. You need stillness, not as a tactic, but as a truth. And you need to let go of the idea that being vulnerable is somehow losing control. Because in that surrender, you gain something far greater, genuine emotional intimacy. It's easy to hide behind performance. It's harder and far more meaningful to simply be. A hug that comes from that space, that allows your heart to beat without armor, is unforgettable. Because it doesn't just say, I'm here, it says, I trust myself enough to let you in. You don't need to talk about your feelings to express them. Sometimes the way you hold her says it all. I see you. I'm not rushing you. I'm with you. And when that kind of embrace ends, it doesn't really end. It stays. In her nervous system, in her thoughts, in her longing. Not because you overwhelmed her, but because you understood her. Stoic bloom. Vulnerability isn't exposure, it's invitation. Part 7, her pace is your map. Follow, don't force. One of the most overlooked skills in a man's emotional arsenal is the ability to follow her rhythm. We often think of leading as strength, but sometimes true strength is knowing when to let her set the tempo. When she initiates a hug, it's more than physical contact. It's an invitation. But what kind of invitation? That depends entirely on how she lingers, how she breathes, how her body responds when you hold her. Some women give you warmth, but with a boundary. Others open like a book, quietly waiting for you to turn the page, but only if you read it. The Stoics taught us that nothing worthwhile can be rushed. Epictetus said, no great thing is created suddenly. That includes trust. That includes intimacy. That includes the kind of connection that makes her think about you while sipping her coffee the next morning. So how do you respond when her embrace slows? You mirror her. You respect her pace. If she softens, you soften. If she stiffens, you ease. If she stays, you stay, not to control the moment, but to honor it. The truth is, presence isn't passive. It's active awareness. It's paying attention to her breathing. It's noticing if her hand stays on your back a little longer. It's being emotionally agile, not rigid, not scripted, alive. And here's the secret. When you let her lead with her body and you respond with emotional awareness, you gain something most men never experience. Attunement, that magic word. That inner alignment between two people where everything flows. No pressure, no confusion, just pure, quiet chemistry. Now let's be real for a moment. If your last hug ended with her giving you a polite smile and a take care, this is your cue to evolve. Click that subscribe button like it's her hand reaching back for yours. Share this video with a brother who still thinks chest bumps are intimate. And leave a comment if you've ever felt a hug that said more than words ever could. Because around here, we don't just watch, we wake up. Emotionally, deliberately, like true modern Stoics. Stoic bloom. Because in stillness, we listen. And in listening, we lead. Part 8. Your presence is the message, not your performance. In a world that rewards spectacle, it's tempting to think you need to do more to be remembered. A firmer hug, a dramatic pause, a well-timed breath. But the truth? What makes a hug unforgettable isn't your performance, it's your presence. There's a subtle difference between someone who's trying to impress and someone who's simply there. One feels like effort, the other feels like truth. When a woman hugs you, she's not calculating the angle of your elbows or the symmetry of your grip. She's feeling for your authenticity. Are you actually with her in that moment, or are you performing for her approval? Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That applies here. Don't rehearse how to be emotionally connected. Be it. When you're present, fully grounded and undistracted, your hug says everything she needs to know. I'm not pretending. I'm here. You see, presence is not passive. It's one of the most powerful, demanding energies you can offer. It requires you to drop the internal noise, to stop wondering what she's thinking, to stop editing yourself mid-moment. It's you, raw and centered, sharing a moment with zero pretense. And that's where the real magic happens. In that space where you're not trying to get anything from the hug, affection, attention, affirmation, but instead giving calm, grounded energy. That is when she feels safest. That is when her nervous system starts to trust yours. You don't need to overthink your touch. You just need to mean it. And meaning only happens when your mind, your heart, and your body are in alignment, when there's no inner conflict, just presence. Because at the end of the day, the hugs she remembers most are not the ones that swept her off her feet. They're the ones where she felt the weight of your stillness, where she could feel your emotional clarity just by how you held her. Stoic bloom. Presence needs no explanation. It explains everything. Final reflection. The way you hug says everything about the kind of man you are. It's not just a gesture. It's a declaration of presence, a statement of emotional clarity, a testament to whether you're hiding behind performance or standing firm in authenticity. Through this journey, you have uncovered what most overlook. The hug is not about technique. It's about energy. It's about listening with your skin, responding with your breath, and connecting without needing control. When you hug with grounded awareness, she feels it, not just in her body, but in her soul. This isn't about manipulation. It's about mastery. Mastery of self, of emotion, of moment. The Stoics never chased approval. They cultivated depth. And in your embrace, you now carry the same invitation, to make her feel safe, seen, and never forgotten. Not because you tried harder, but because you were fully there. Now, if what you've just heard resonates with you, not just intellectually, but internally, this is your moment to act. Not later, not tomorrow, now. Subscribe to the Stoic Bloom channel and become part of a brotherhood redefining masculinity through stillness. Share this video with a friend, a brother, a version of yourself who still thinks silence is awkward and emotions are weakness. Comment below and tell us, what's one hug you'll never forget and why? And yes, like this video, not for the algorithm, but as a small act of intention. Because here, every act is done with presence. We're not just building a channel, we're building a quiet revolution. Stoic Bloom. Real men don't just hold on, they hold space.